Okay, so you've made the move to Germany. You're starting to settle in, but let's be honest, the costs pile up really fast, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. You've got the rental deposit, maybe furnishing a whole apartment, sorting out insurance. It's a lot up front.
Exactly. And sometimes you need cash, like now, maybe before your first proper paycheck even lands.
That's a super common scenario. And it's usually then that you, as an expat, first bump into these two German terms. Dispositions credit, that's the overdraft.
Right, the Dispo.
Yep, the Dispo. And the Rodden credit, which is basically a standard private loan, paid back in installments.
And I hear mixing these up or using the wrong one can be a really expensive mistake, like seriously costly.
It really can. We're talking potentially hundreds, even thousands in extra interest if you're not careful. It happens all the time.
Okay, so that's what we're tackling today then.
That's the mission. We want to give you a clear, practical guide. Cut through the German bank speak,
Lay it all out.
Exactly. Explain how they work, the real costs, the risks, the benefits, so you can choose the right tool and avoid those expensive traps.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where should we start? Probably the Dispo, right? It feels like the easiest one to stumble into.
Good starting point. Yeah, the Dispo credit is designed to feel easy. It's basically a credit line that's linked directly to your main checking account, your Girokonto.
So you can just spend more money than you actually have in there.
Uh-huh. Up to a certain limit, yes. And the banks often approve it almost automatically once they see you've got a regular income hitting the account.
Okay, see, that instant access sounds amazing, especially if you're just waiting for payday or, I don't know, an unexpected bill pops up.
It is tempting, very convenient.
But there has to be a catch, right, if it's that easy. Is it always approved if you have income, or are there exceptions?
It's usually approved once income is stable.
Yeah.
That automatic nature is part of the danger, maybe. The real catch is the cost. The convenience comes at a price.
Okay. And the limit. You said there's a limit.
Yeah, it's usually not huge, maybe 2 or 3 times your net monthly income. But the key thing, the really crucial part, is the interest rate.
Ah, okay. How bad is it? Are we talking credit card level bad?
Pretty much, yeah. You're typically looking at annual interest rates somewhere between, say, 9% and 14%, sometimes even higher.
Ouch. 14%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's intentionally expensive because it's so flexible. You don't need a separate application each time. You just use it.
Right. But you mentioned flexibility and repayment, too.
Yes, that's the upside. Any money that comes into your salary or refund, whatever, automatically goes towards paying down the overdraft first. So it can be paid back quickly if you have funds coming in.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this. If I need, say, 300 euros for a quick repair, and I know I'm getting paid in 10 days, then using the Dispo for those 10 days, even at 14%, isn't the end of the world. The actual interest cost would be pretty small.
That's precisely the kind of situation it's designed for. A very short-term bridge. We're talking days, maybe a week or 2 at most.
Right.
The big risk, and sources really emphasize this, is that because it's always there and so easy, people fall into using it constantly. It becomes permanent overdraft.
Living in the red, basically.
Yes, and you're constantly paying that high 14% interest on whatever amount you're overdrawn by. It's like a slow leak in your finances.
And what does that do to your Schufa score? The German credit score thing. If I'm always using my Dispo, say right up to the limit.
That doesn't look good. Constantly maxing out your overdraft signals to Schufa that you might be under financial stress or maybe not managing money well.
So just having the Dispo available isn't bad for Schufa.
No, just having the facility is fine. It's the heavy, continuous usage near the limit that raises flags. It can make getting other cheaper credit later much harder.
Okay, so Dispo, emergency parachute for a few days, not a long-term loan. Got it.
You've got it. Emergency exit, not the main door for borrowing.
All right, so let's talk about the other door then. The more structured option. The Rodden credit. The private loan.
Right, the Rodden credit. This is completely different. It's a specific loan you apply for a particular amount, usually for a planned purchase or need.
Like buying furniture, or maybe a used car.
Exactly. Or even consolidating other more expensive debts, which we'll come back to. And you repay it in fixed, predictable monthly installments over an agreed period.
Okay, Fixed payments. That sounds more manageable for budgeting.
It is. And what's fascinating here is the cost difference compared to the Dispo. It's huge.
Lower interest rates, I assume.
Significantly lower. Of course, it depends heavily on your SHUFA score and the bank, but you're often looking at rates between 3% and 8% annually, sometimes even less if your score is excellent.
3 to 8% versus 9 to 14%. Wow, okay.
Let's make that concrete. Imagine you need to borrow, say, $3,000 for about 6 months. With a Dispo at 14% versus a rat and credit at 5%, you'd save a good chunk of money, maybe over $130, just in interest.
That's not insignificant at all. And I guess you can borrow larger amounts with a rat and credit too.
Generally, yes. Loan amounts typically start around €1,000 and can go up to $50,000 or sometimes even more, depending on your income and creditworthiness.
So lower rates, potentially bigger loans, fixed payments. Sounds much better. What's the catch this time? What's the trade-off?
The trade-off is mainly flexibility, or rather the lack of it.
How so?
Well, you're committing to that fixed repayment schedule, usually for anywhere from 1 to maybe 10 years. It's predictable, which is good. But say you get a sudden bonus and want to pay off the entire loan early. With a rat and credit, you might face fees for early repayment. It depends on the specific contract.
Ah, okay. So you need to read the fine print about early repayment options.
Definitely. Some allow partial early payments without fees, others charge. It varies. So Dispo, flexible but expensive. Rat and credit, cheaper but rigid.
Makes sense. What about getting approved for a rat and credit? Is that harder for someone new to Germany, maybe with a thin SHUFA file?
It certainly can be, yes. Because the bank is lending you money for a longer period, usually years, they need more confidence that you'll be able to make those fixed payments consistently.
So they look more closely at your history.
They do. For new expats, sources suggest that having at least some track record is important, like paying your rent or a mobile phone contract on time consistently, something that shows reliability because they don't have much else to go on initially.
Okay, that's a really clear difference. Let's try applying this. Maybe some real-life examples.
Perfect idea. Let's do it.
All right, scenario 1. You've just arrived, maybe found an apartment, but you need about, say, €400 to cover the first month's liability insurance payment. And your first salary payment is still 2 weeks away. You know the money is coming.
Okay. Short-term need, known incoming funds.
Yeah.
That's textbook Dispo territory. You dip into the overdraft for those 2 weeks. The convenience outweighs the high rate because the actual interest paid over such a short period will be minimal. Use it, pay it back automatically when the salary hits, done.
Okay, easy enough. Now, scenario 2. You're furnishing that apartment. You need about, let's say, $5,000 here for sofa, bed, maybe some kitchen appliances. You'll need time to pay that off, maybe a year or 2.
Right. Planned, larger expense, longer repayment needed.
Putting that on the Dispo would be bad.
Financially disastrous, seriously. Carrying €5,000 at 14% interest, even if you're paying it down over a year, would cost you a fortune in interest payments. Hundreds of euros wasted.
So this is clearly rat and credit time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You apply for a 5,000 rat and credit, maybe you get a rate of, say, 4% or 5%. You'll have a fixed monthly payment you can budget for over maybe 24 months, and you'll save a huge amount compared to using the overdraft.
And you mentioned using the rat and credit to fix Dispo problems.
Yes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is probably one of the smartest moves an expat can make once they have a bit of SHUFA history.
How does that work?
If you realize you've fallen into that permanent overdraft trap, maybe you're consistently €2,000 overdrawn on your Dispo, paying that awful 12% or 14%. You should actively apply for a rat and credit for €2,000. Once it's approved, use that money to instantly pay off the entire overdraft balance. Zero it out.
So you swap the expensive debt for cheaper debt.
Exactly. You swap the high-interest, flexible Dispo debt for lower-interest, structured rat and credit debt. Your $2,000 debt now costs you maybe 5% interest instead of 14%, and you have a clear plan to pay it off. It immediately stops the bleeding.
That sounds like a really powerful strategy, especially if you kind of slipped into using the Dispo without realizing the long-term cost.
It's called debt consolidation, and it's often the first step towards getting finances back on track.
Okay, super helpful. Let's just nail down the SHUFA impact again. We said constantly using the Dispo near the limit is bad. What's the main SHUFA danger with a rat and credit?
With a rat and credit, the biggest red flag for SHUFA is missing payments.
Because it's a fixed agreement.
Precisely. You've entered into a contract with fixed monthly payments. If you start missing those payments, it shows you're not meeting your obligations, and that hits your score hard. So Dispo usage shows potential stress. Rat and credit non-payment, shows unreliability.
Got it. Different signals, both bad for your score.
Ah.
Okay, this has been incredibly clarifying. Let's try and boil this down. What are the absolute key takeaways for expats listening?
Okay, let's summarize. I think there are 4 main things to keep front of mind. First, your SHUFA score matters, even early on. Start building a positive history immediately. Pay bills on time, especially things like rent, utilities, mobile contracts. Consistency is key.
Right. Number 1, build good SHUFA habits from day 1. What's second?
Second, treat the Dispo strictly as a short-term bridge. Think days, not weeks or months. It is not cheap long-term credit. Avoid living in it.
Okay, Dispo emergency bridge only. Third,
if you need money for a planned expense, especially anything over, say, €1,000, or if you need several months or years to repay, a rotten credit is almost always the cheaper, smarter choice. Do the math.
rotten credit for bigger, planned borrowing. Got it. And the last one.
Fourth, and this links back to the consolidation idea, if you find you are constantly using your overdraft, even just partially, take action. Seriously, investigate getting a rotten credit to pay it off and switch to lower interest rates.
And compare offers.
Oh, absolutely critical. Always use online comparison portals, check the interest rates, check the fees, read the fine print before signing anything for a rotten credit. The market varies.
So manage SHUFA, use Dispo only for emergencies, use rotten credit for planned borrowing, and consolidate Dispo debt if needed.
That's the core strategy. Use the tools for what they're actually good for. Dispo for the tiny temporary gaps. Rotten credit for the structured, bigger needs. That gives you control.
And ultimately, it means you're not wasting money on unnecessary interest, and you're protecting that vital SHUFA score for the future.
That's exactly what it means. You're setting yourself up for better financial health in Germany.
Fantastic. Any final thought for people to chew on?
Yeah, just one practical thing. Don't just vaguely know your bank offers you a Dispo. Find out the actual interest rate they charge for it. Write it down. Then maybe go onto a comparison site and see what rate you might get for a small rotten credit right now.
See the difference side by side.
Exactly. Seeing that specific number, that difference between maybe 13% and 4%, really highlights the opportunity cost if you are carrying Dispo debt. It can be a real motivator to make a change.
That's a great, actionable piece of advice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful.
My pleasure. Happy to help navigate the German financial landscape.
And thank you all for joining us for this deep dive. Hopefully you feel more confident tackling Dispos and rotten credits now. Join us next time. Maybe we'll get into something equally thrilling like German tax declarations for freelancers, or perhaps the must-have liability insurances. We'll see. Until then, stay informed and manage that money well.